Oh, it's time. Time to get radical.
Viewer discretion is advised.
Welcome to Radical Comedy of the Week for March the 2nd through March the 8th. Today's honorable mentions start out with Wolfpack 1. It's hard to get it for people like us, but it's a mental condition where they become addicted to that shit. They think it's gonna fill some type of hole in their hearts. Talking about game collecting. Some people get addicted to buying shit. My ex-wife was addicted to buying clothes, and these guys are addicted to buying games. Some people use those purchases to try and fill holes in their hearts, and others use those purchases to show off and feel superior to others, and that's what they use it to try to fill the holes. You said fill holes. I love people, and the majority of people are good, but in the end some people just suck at life, and some people just suck in general. The key is to not let that shittiness suck you in while still trying to overall help. They don't get that we acknowledge we aren't perfect ourselves, but in the end trying to help them have better lives. Some people never change. The next honorable mention comes to us from Reptilian Richard Ramirez. Too many R's there. I've played it 3 times, talking about the Final Fantasy VII Remake demo. It's only 45 minutes and overall isn't much. I will say that it is amazing. I absolutely loved it, and I don't say this lightly. It's a system seller and contender for the best RPG or even game ever made. People don't understand the concept though. It's an expanded remake. It only includes Midgar because it is not the same game as the original, since they are fleshing the story out and making an entire game's length on just the first part of the original. It's not a cash grab, that's only an episode, completely wrong idea. It has a hybrid combat system, meaning it's a mix of real-time and turn-based. Think Kingdom Hearts, only less complicated. It's going to be such an amazing game. It feels great, very fluid combat system. Honestly, probably the most fluid combat system I've ever played. This game is going to be big, and I suggest picking up a PS4. I've had both consoles this entire generation, and I don't regret it for a minute. Next up, with the third honorable mention, and another comment about the Final Fantasy VII Remake demo. Also come back, guys, and let me know how you feel about the actual complete full game that came out recently. Rusty Shackleford. Just wrapped up playing the Final Fantasy VII Remake demo, and I have to say I'm really impressed with the combat. I appreciate that Square Enix designated a specific button for attacks and another button for other commands such as abilities and items, as opposed to the Kingdom Hearts approach where you have to scroll through icons to do attacks, abilities, items, etc. It makes the combat flow fairly smooth and quick. Cloud's massive sword reminds me of Kratos' axe in God of War PS4. It just feels so freaking good swinging the sword around and pounding enemies. Big? Swinging it around? Pounding? I see what you did there. In regards to the soundtrack, it doesn't seem to match the atmosphere. I get that they were trying to recapture the original, as trying to alter the soundtrack too much might piss people off, but they have really done good redoing the music to match the atmosphere of the game. Nintendo has done a good job in redoing music for the games as they have remade it, and they fit so well with the remade game. I think Square Enix could have done a better job in that department. Overall, the demo was fantastic, so I actually decided that I would purchase the game at a later time. Now we get into the medal ceremony. The bronze medal today is going to come to us from Boston Rock Spot. YouTube, like certain forms of media, won't last forever. One day it could all go the way of America Online, and times are always a-changin'. I found out in the early 2000s when I worked in radio. Technology advances so quickly that a lot of those jobs, examples middays, nights, overnights, became automated. And since we only do as well as our sales team does selling airtime to local businesses, a station's operating budget in a small market like where I was could only be stretched out so far. Major markets had major budgets to keep those jobs, but since I was booted out in 2005, even major markets started following the trend of trimming all that fat to stretch their budgets. And that was mostly done to keep their top-tier morning and afternoon drive talent paid and happy. Hell, just 2 weeks ago, a 50-year-old rock station here in town went off the air. Now all of our legendary rock stations that once ruled the airwaves are gone. It also doesn't help that modern rock and roll mostly sucks, and most newer acts can't get past a couple singles or a successful second album. XSM, Spotify, Pandora, and whatever other streaming services were major factors as well. Working in radio was fun while it lasted, but even 15 years ago I saw the writing on the wall. I have awesome memories from what was both the best and worst time of my life, and when it ended, I decided I wanted a more stable life. Terrestrial radio is dead, and I had to swallow my pride and put my huge ego aside, and ever since then, I'm doing better than all my old co-workers. These full-time YouTubers don't have much longer. They invested all this time entering, but have no exit plan. I'm just glad what happened to me did when I was 24 instead of 44. When these guys crash and burn, no one's gonna give these bums the time of day when their time on YouTube is up. If I ever saw on a resume that someone was a host of a YouTube channel for 10 years or whatever, I'd send them a packet. Best of luck to those clowns. Well, a lot of YouTubers are going to be really hurt by these words from you, Boston Rock Spot. Sometimes people will wonder why I am so tough on a lot of these career YouTubers. Could it be possibly that I'm trying to secretly do a lot of them a favor? Okay? Some of these people, the smart ones, have things to fall back on. They have things to fall back on. They have careers that they could easily get right back into. But a lot of them do not. A lot of them are just, fly-by-night successes. Maybe they had a viral video. Maybe they were the talk of the town. Once upon a time, it was easy to get viral videos out there on YouTube. Chocolate rain. Leave Britney alone. Leave Britney alone. It was kind of easy back then, and some might even say, even these days, there might be something that just blows up. It could be a Bane cat, could be a grumpy cat. You could have a pet, But what happens is, there's an expiration date on it. There's maybe one day you log into YouTube and people just don't care much anymore. Maybe one day you're a huge YouTube celebrity and then you're replaced. You might have been the talk of the town, but then not a lot of people really give a fuck. It's a constantly changing thing, YouTube, of what is going to be popular, what's going to be successful, and I think we have a time now where there's an oversaturation, Boston Rock Spot. There's an oversaturation, and there's so many people doing the same exact thing. So if a channel maybe goes by the wayside, oh no, it's a gaming channel that does documentary type videos, and they're pretty good. Oh no, what will we ever do? Oh wait, there's another one right there. 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 Different. You talk about a lot of these YouTubers and how when you say these guys crash and burn, no one's going to give these bums the time of day when they go to fill out job applications. It is tough love. When I talk about YouTubers really it being laughable that they have a career and they're professional YouTubers, it's out of tough love. Because in most cases, there's always going to be your big YouTubers that can almost do no wrong. All right? Keemstar, he's probably set for a good part of the rest of his life. Probably is. Markiplier, Keemstar, they're probably set. All right? But that's not who we're talking about. That's not usually who I'm talking about. It's these people kind of on the bubble. Maybe they get 10K subscribers. Maybe they get 20K subscribers. And they're like, okay, it's time. It's time to quit my job. Screw that job. I'm going to live my dream. I'm going to live my dream. Well, I tell you what, the dream can quickly turn into a nightmare. And I'm just shocked right now, Boston Rock Spot. I'm shocked there's so many of these people. So many of these average motherfuckers. Just average people with no personalities whatsoever. And bless them, they've been able to turn YouTube into a career. But you got to be thinking, how many life skills do you actually take from YouTube if you're actually going to go get a normal job? I don't know, maybe there's some situations to where your YouTube channel, it might actually help you in landing something else. But in most all cases, I see a scenario, like you said, where if YouTube goes belly up, a lot of things can change on YouTube. If YouTube goes belly up, what happens? What happens if Patreon goes away? You know, a lot of these creators survive on Patreon. What happens if Patreon goes away? It's just very volatile, and I hope they know that. They gotta have a backup plan. So, in many ways, to me, it's tough love when I just poke at a lot of these full-time career YouTubers, and I joke that, you know, what's it going to look like when Dreamcast guy sits down for a job interview? You know, if he came to me looking for a job and on his resume, I've been a YouTuber, successful YouTuber for about 10 years. I'm like, okay, so you uploaded gaming videos. What else you got? Next up with the silver medal, we got Art Bell. News. Smash Video, talking about Smash8th, on keeping his Patreon even though he stepped away. First, no mention of join. He still has the button on. It's not even on the table for discussion. Smash that Patreon piggy bank. My patrons simply won't allow it. It would be rude, unthinkable, unethical. And Angel told him not to. He had a vision. Cold dead hands will cling to the Patreon welfare cup. Where is the dated receipts on his pay pigs? How do we know it's not him handing his neighbor that $5? Hired pay puppies? It is telling how he speaks about Game Talk as a career. 90-year-old DSP or Metal J, he knows this game is limited. How many 30s women got on the cover of Playboy? You're going in a different direction, Art. Different direction? I didn't see that coming. A game for the young, since he lacks the radio quality voice of Boogie and Review Tech USA. He knows he will run out of stuff and start hamster wheeling video now that he does low effort recordings in his car. Ouch, that one could hurt. The Canadian gamer who needed to patent the Terminator sunglasses, the too cool approach that Smash is now using. If Smash is motivated, he doesn't need the cash from viewers. Paying to keep him motivated is not needed, he admitted. Charity giving would allow the donor to get a tax receipt and not have the government steal 40% of the tip plus minus the Patreon fees. I know it's loud. What you gonna do? They're doing some stuff next door. They're putting up a game museum. Charge card fees. He endorses waste and justifies the greed. How is he still linked to Patreon in his description and about? Stepping away means to do so for Patreon. Stop lying to yourself, your patrons, and us, unjoined too. That is a reward tier for society. Okay, a couple things. I think he might be back to doing his regular quality videos. I know for a stretch he was doing those interesting car, video logs. Some of them were actually interesting. One thing though is of course, you know how I feel about his Patreon and tip jar, cup of coffee. Okay, buy yourselves a cup of coffee. I don't get it. He said his Patreon simply won't allow it, that it would be rude, unthinkable. This idea, I just think it's kind of laughable. This idea that he can't upload a video telling his patrons, hey, you know what, everything's cool. Everything's cool. I got my job. All right. Whatever I offer to you is going to be just from the YouTube channel. Thanks for stopping by. Thanks for giving this a like. Thanks for, coming to the channel. The idea I just find kind of funny. Of all people, Smash JT, and maybe there's a couple diehards out there, bless them. Maybe there's a couple diehards out there that would get furious with him if they couldn't donate that $1 to him a month. Maybe there is. Maybe there is. But I think it's more reasonable to say he keeps it up there because maybe one day, maybe someday, maybe one day he'll be the next top hat gaming man. Maybe a lot of people will donate to him. Maybe, possibly, maybe that's the idea. I really liked his car vlog series because it felt like here was a guy actually being honest, on his time. Here was a guy maybe just being honest with his audience, talked about how he tried so hard to make it as a full-time YouTuber, and he realizes, hey, you know what, I'm moving on with my life now, I got the new job, things are going good, and I'm just going to have these chill video uploads. All right? Whatever he does with his channel, that's his business. But one thing I would like to see is him getting rid of that Patreon and getting rid of that join. I would like to see that. We have a definite disagreement in that. I understand that. But he's also one guy that comes by and always, leaves comments interesting comments. I feel that he's one of the better critics of me on the channel. Okay, so yeah, what you gonna do? What you gonna do? It's not a perfect world, and me and him will never see eye to eye. But one thing I think a lot of people probably agree with me on is, especially when he left, when he supposedly left and he said, I quit, he still kept that Patreon on. So it's kind of hard to weasel out of that. You know, you leave your Patreon on, but then you leave your channel. Okay, so then it kind of admits that it's just charity, right? Because the minute you talk about leaving a channel, and correct me if I'm wrong, Smash, the minute you leave a channel, if that Patreon is actually tied to that channel and your, content, right? Is that what we're to believe? The Patreon makes the content possible. It is directed right to the content, and it's not just charity handouts. Then if the content goes bye-bye, or if you take a break, or, if you're like the gaming historian with his Patreon, hell, he takes months breaks at a time, He's, in a way, he's like mini Alpha. And Alpha Omega Sin, he still has a Patreon up, right? So who's still donating to Alpha? Okay, that just kind of like obliterates it as an idea. The idea I hear that it's directly connected to the content. Hey, pay me some money because you like the content. Well, guess what? Oh, everybody makes the Netflix comparison. Guess what? If I couldn't use my Netflix for a month or two, I'd be pissed off if I still got that bill in the mail. And next up, with the shiny, shiny gold medal, my number one Patreon pal, Haddington Rose. Here's a thought. It has nothing to do with this particular upload, but when Patreon defenders usually try to defend it, they say, well, it's like a tip jar. Well, who has tip jars? Who are given tips in real jobs? Waiter staff, delivery people, cleaners, maybe cooks. And why is it expected for us to tip these people? They usually don't get paid probably for the jobs they do all that much. Even if you want to count YouTube as a job, the last time I checked, they are making well over minimum wage. With the general consensus being that you can become a full-time YouTuber once you get to 10K subscribers. Hot damn, I'm 5K away. So these people want to be treated like they get paid less, do less work, but get paid even more than their audience does. Even with YouTube taking more percentage of their earnings, someone like the Quartering isn't hurting for money, owns his own house, takes expensive trips, has companies courting him to place private unskippable ads in the videos. Yeah, he's making way more than you or me. It's just a cup of coffee, they say. Well, they could have skipped that cup themselves and put that money that they earned away to get something they really wanted, or go on a trip, get those new shoes they've been putting off. And when I say they, I mean both the YouTuber and the viewer. But they make quality content that entertains us. You don't care that actors get paid a lot of money? Have you seen the content these people put out? Are you honestly expecting anyone to believe you can rewatch RJT or MGR video over and over again like you can a film? Their stuff is mostly outdated a month after it comes out, at best. Now, some people on YouTube do make rewatchable content. VLDL, Warp Zone, AVGN, but just the actual AVGN episodes. His reviews are kind of pointless once you pick up their likes and dislikes. Oh, they aren't going to like this film because they don't like this one. So even those aren't worth a full playthrough. And at least 2 of them have a Patreon but don't push it in every video, or make ads that don't fit their channel and offer merch or their content on this so you can support them the same way you would support a professional actor. I've never personally given RDJ a penny, and honestly never would, but I do own his films and an Iron Man doll. And that's how you as a regular person support an actor slash actress that you see when their product. You buy it or the merch from them, i.e. the studio that makes it, and pay said actor their high pay. You don't deposit money into their bank accounts. So what are they? Content creators or underpaid staff that are looked on as replaceable cogs? Can't be both. They have professional equipment, sets with thousands of dollars worth of crap on them, and most of them only make content you can watch just once if you're lucky. Some of their stuff you can't even get past the opener, and a lot of them, the more money they make, the less content they create. Gaming historian. Instead of what it's supposed to be. More money is supposed to lead to more content. VLDL went from 1 video a month to 1 a week to 3. If they can script, shoot, edit, and act in full-on TV quality skits 3 times a week, why can't Norm or Drew shoot 2 videos a month while they sit on their bedrooms reading Wikipedia? As I said, just a thought. Yesterday I talked about the bar in relation to, tips on YouTube. And a lot of people will go out and they'll buy Blu-rays of movies. Let's say one of your favorite movies is Step Brothers, all right? And you can watch that movie over and over again and always laugh, always find something in it. And you appreciate that these actors, they got together with the actresses, the director, and they created that. And then you went out and you bought the movie. That raises the bar up to a certain level to where you're like, okay, I will pay for this. I will pay for this. Okay? Maybe there's a couple channels out there. Maybe we got some channels out there that upload some really amazing Hollywood quality type videos. So then that begs the question, at what point in the bar are you actually going to maybe justify giving money to a creator? So we look at it in terms of a bar. Now, most of the time, I use examples as MGR and RGT85, stuff like that. Very easy to create for the most part, even though they might say it takes 40, 50, 100, 200, 300 hours to create this content. Okay. If you want it to, it can. If you want it to. If you want to spend 2-3 hours on a thumbnail, if you want to write up your little scripts, if you want to look up things on Wikipedia for 9 or 10 hours, that's on you. All right. But I mean, the idea that the final product is what you really have to look at, I think, out of 10 rows. If I see a YouTube video and I ask maybe 4 or 5 people, and I ask them, how long does it seem like that took? How long does it look? Okay. If it seems like it's very simple and it's just a guy in front of a camera talking about some video games, showing off some hidden gems, it's a hard sell. It is a hard sell to say, okay, well, that deserves the same amount of money you might give to a movie. Okay. So you're going to tell me you're going to give this person $10 or $15 or $20 when you can go and actually buy like a Blu-ray of something, which is a completed product. A completed product, like you said, you can rewatch over and over again. You go out and buy, I know it's hard to find CDs, but you go out and buy a CD of something that you can listen to over and over and again because it reaches that bar. I see a problem with so many YouTubers and they can't reach that bar, but they'll say, we can reach that bar. Hey, we're just as good as Amazon or Netflix, right? Who are you trying to admit that to? Do you have to keep up that facade to justify getting into donations? Do a lot of you even really, you try to admit it to yourselves or convince yourselves, do you even believe that shit? Okay? Some people might come by here and say, well, Radical Rick, we can re-listen to you over and over again. Radical Rick, there's a couple uploads that you've uploaded that have changed our views, opinions, maybe inspired us. They say, well, Radical Rick, why don't you take donations? Plain and simple, I don't deserve any donations for doing this. I'm getting all that I deserve and more. People like Hampton Rose and Art Bell coming to my channel, Boston Rock Spot, Rusty Shackelford. This is more than I deserve on this platform. Okay? That's what I get at. Be lucky, be fortunate you're on here, getting these people coming to your comment sections, spending their valuable, precious time like Hampton Rose giving me these fucking amazing comments. That is more than I deserve. I also have ad revenue. I'm lucky enough to have ad revenue on the channel. That's more than I think I deserve. Who the fuck would I be to hold out my goddamn hat for donations? Who the fuck would I be? I couldn't live with myself. I couldn't. Okay? Now, a lot of people don't feel that way. I know a lot of you right now might say that, well, Rick, if you start up a Patreon, we think you're a cool content creator, we might donate to you. It's not the point. It's how you feel. It's how you feel about it.